जयपुर वाया कोटा।
कृपया ध्यान आपको अहमदाबाद
दिल्ली में आपका स्वागत.
Lucknow Junction.
ನಿಲ್ದಾಣದ ಕಡೆಗೆ ಹೊರಟಿರುವರೈ
Hyderabad को 50 एक्सप्रेस পরবর্তী স্টেশন নেতাজি ভবন कृपया ध्यान दो
Monday blues, what Monday blues when you treat it to thrillers such as this one on a Monday night. You heard it here first. I think our soothsayers Joy Bhattacharjya and Simon Doull mentioned during a mid-inning show that 145 might seem like a small total on paper, but the chase is going to be anything but simple. You're watching Cricbuzz Live. I'm Anubhav Jain. With me, Simon Doull, Joy Bhattacharjya, our soothsayers. Joy, what an absolute humdinger of a contest.
Absolutely superb contest.
Yeah.
And, we thought they got it wrong, that they didn't substitute for the spinner because we felt spinners would play a large part. But Mukesh Kumar compensated with some magnificent bowling, especially a fantastic last over for 5 runs. This is a character win for Delhi. I think more than anything else, it's a win of just holding on, not losing your nerve when they had all those wickets in hand and playing through it all.
Yeah, brilliant.
Yeah.
Absolutely. But I was really pleased from 2 overs for 22 prior to that last over. They had the confidence to throw him the ball. The spinners had bowled really well through that middle period. And I thought at the halfway stage, even when we did the combox, I thought they might regret not having another spinner. But they've gone to Mukesh, bowled the last over absolutely brilliantly, and you can see the emotion from David Warner and the emotion from everyone. We'll get to Hyderabad, I think, at some stage, but they could have shown more intent early, and Klaasen could have perhaps been a little earlier above Abhishek. But credit to Delhi. Credit to Delhi. They've got the job done, and sometimes those low-scoring games can be good ones, can't they?
And Dooley, while we were watching the final over, right before we went on air, you described exactly what he should be doing, and that's exactly what Mukesh did as well.
And this is what players talk about when they say executing your plans. They had an extra fielder inside the circle. He had to execute his plan. He had to go wide Yorkers to the left-hander, use the big side of the ground, and all of these plans are laid out. The bowlers know, but still in that moment, you have to do that. When you've gone for 22 prior in your 2 overs, you're the impact player. There's a lot of pressure. An enormous amount of pressure on you. And he's delivered. He's delivered in spades. So I'd say really well done. And that's a big, big win for Delhi, that one. That's the sort of win that just kind of might get you going a little bit.
Absolutely, yeah. A big win for Delhi, as Joy said as well. It's a win that definitely shows character. We'll talk about everything that transpired during this match. But before doing so, we'll take a high-level view of what happened. Delhi scoring 144 in the first innings. Hyderabad managing 137, falling short by 7 runs. Mayank Agarwal top scoring for Hyderabad, 49, opening the batting. But I think the focus, or most of the focus, should be on Delhi's bowling, especially Akshar Patel, Andrek Nokia, Kuldeep Yadav, and the rest of the pack. We spoke about Mukesh Kumar, and we'll kick off proceedings with Akshar Patel. He was good with the bat, a very handy 34, and chipped in with the ball as well. Slowly but surely, as the tournament's progressing, we're definitely seeing Akshar Patel getting into the groove, aren't we?
Absolutely. And I think the one smart thing Manish Pandey and Akshar Patel did was they didn't try and get 180. They said that, we'll try and get as close as possible, keep taking the 1s, 2s, occasional 4s, get to the 16th, 17th over, get it going. And their game plan would have got them to 155 had it not been for those, rash of runouts in the end and some stupid decisions. But they got to 144, and I think that's really important. They could have gone in for 120. They could have been all out for 120 had they tried to hit early. And I think that is the one thing that Akshar brings. Not only does he have the ability to bat, he has great game sense, He has great idea what is needed at this point in the game.
Absolutely. Like, he's got a solid thinking brain. Because sometimes what happens is, when you have your backs against the wall, you feel like counter-attacking. You might end up getting carried away. Your ego might not be in check. But the way Manish Pandey, Akshar Patel played in the first innings, steadied the ship, which was commendable, and then followed it up with a couple of very crucial wickets in the second innings.
Yeah, and we thought he might have bowled a little bit earlier, but the fact they didn't bring that extra spinner in, it meant they just held him back a touch more. He found some turn. He gets crucial wickets. He sums up situations. He's an absolute gun in the field. He's a jet in the field as well. Let's not forget that. And I haven't always been overly kind to Manish Pandey at different times, but that was a very good innings.
Yeah.
Again, that partnership really got them to a score that they felt they may have been able to defend if they bowl really well and if Hyderabad don't play as well as they could play. So that's what I talk about when I say game awareness. smarts, match winner, so much first-class cricket experience for Manish Pandey. He summed up the situation. Aksar summed up the situation. And 34 off 34, you might be saying, oh, come on, Simon, you always talk about strike rate. Not necessary. In that situation, not necessary. Getting to a score that was going to allow them to bring their bowlers into the competition, he could have gone gun-ho and been bowled out for 125, 130. Then they lose the game. But he got them to a score where they could possibly win. And the bowlers have done the job. Hyderabad, I don't think have been at their best, but gee, that's just a good win. I mean, Aksar Patel continues at, whether it be test match cricket, whether it be this format of the game, he just continues to impress. And look at those numbers. He had one bad day, really, hasn't he? None for 38 against Rajasthan. 1 for 38, you'd say, ho-hum. None for 20. So look at the run rate in the last 4 games. Mumbai, Bangalore, Kolkata and Hyderabad. I mean, that is just superb. He's going at, 6 and over, max, in the last 4 games and starting to take wickets.
So the economy was superb, but the one thing that stood out in the graphic was that he wasn't quite amongst the wickets in the first few matches. He may have been economical, but then in the last 3 games, we've been seeing him picking up the wickets, especially crucial wickets. He picked up Mayank Agarwal and Aiden Markram today.
See, one of the big problems is why did he not pick up wickets before? And if you look at those matches, a lot of those matches were situations where the opposing team didn't need to attack him. They could afford to play him out. They could, and they know he's their dangerous bowler. Play out their spinners. Delhi has nothing else in the tank. And they did a lot of that. So when do you get wickets? You get wickets when somebody's taking risks against you. And today the situation came, the other bowlers also bowled well. They had to try and hit him on a pitch that was giving a little assistance to spinners. And that's where the advantage was.
Yeah, and of course he was supported well by the rest of the bowlers. The pace bowling duo of Andik Noke, Ishant Sharma. Ishant Sharma, I mean, carrying on from where he left off in the last game in this match, conceding only 18 runs of his 3 overs, picking up 1 wicket, the important one of Rahul Tripathi. We spoke about old is gold, age is just a number. And Ishant Sharma definitely is an exemplar of that, isn't he?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the spin twins, brilliant, Aksar and Kuldeep. But Ishant, really good up top. And I think Nokia's, when he gets those Yorkers right, very difficult to get away at the back end. I mean, Ishant could have had a couple. He went past the outside edge very first ball, then brought that one back over the top of off stump. I think second ball to Harry Brook, who struggled again. But yeah, I'm impressed. I mean, they've brought Ishant back as an experienced campaigner. I like what they've done, and maybe they're just starting to find the right combinations. That Delhi side now, they just need those batters to fire a bit more. They need Warner to fire with a strike rate. Mitch Marsh showed a glimpse tonight, just glimpses, but you just do it a little more.
Yeah, and someone whose name we haven't mentioned as yet is Kuldeep Yadav. Very economical, going at 5.5 per over, 4 overs, 6 dot balls, 22, picking up 1 wicket. Abhishek Sharma, he's someone who plays spin well, but Kuldeep Yadav outfoxed him, and then he contributed superbly as well to the bowling display.
No, absolutely. I mean, if you look at Delhi before this match started, or the last 2 matches, before the last 2 matches, you'd have to say who's performed for them. Aksar, Kuldeep, David Warner to a certain extent. That's it. Now you're seeing glimmers from the others. Mitch Marsh has shown you a little bit. Manish Pandey, I'm telling you, I've dealt with him, worked a season with him. He's very much a confidence player. If he thinks it's going his way, he's a match winner. He's won a man of the match in the finals of an IPL. So he's capable of those kind of innings. And I just want to mention one more thing. This Mukesh Kumar, his story is one of the most amazing stories.
Yeah.
I mean, literally coming to a camp, being refused because there's no other place, borrowing spikes from somebody else to bowl 1 ball for Wakar to be impressed enough to call him back the next day. For a trial. And from then on, staying at the Eden Gardens, literally the family of Bengal cricket, from the physio to the guys who live in the stadium, getting together, contributing to his funds, making sure that he had food to eat, place to stay, face to sleep. I mean, he's a product of that family at that village. It takes a village to build a player.
Absolutely.
And those hard times build character. And I think we see some of that character in that last over. It's not about always the big money players. Sometimes it's about what gets you there, and as you said, the people that have helped him along the way, he'll remember that. But it's also the hard times he's been through that get him through that situation. All I got to do is bowl a cricket ball a bit wide of off stump, and I've got to get it full. I mean, it's nowhere near as hard as what I've been through in my life already. And sometimes those little things, the life lessons, kind of help you in the game if you can put the moment and the situation behind you, and just think about, geez, I've done it tough in life. I got 35,000 people screaming for me, and all I've got to do is bowl a little white rock wide of off stump. can't be that hard, can it?
Yeah.
You know? And sometimes if that's in your mind, it could be a great life lesson.
Yeah, I mean, it looks simple, but it's
Yeah,
far from easy.
it
Simple
is,
and easy being very
absolutely.
different. But Joy, correct me if I'm wrong. I read this article about Mukesh Kumar, and he had bone edema as well. And apparently, a few doctors had said that he's never going to play cricket again. But he worked hard behind the scenes, came back, defied all odds, and look at what he's doing now.
Absolutely, absolutely. And what he's talking about, building character, being in a situation where you're saying I'm the right one. And look at it, they had Ishant Sharma there. And I think that was a great decision from David Warner because Ishant Sharma has never been a great bowler late in the innings.
Yeah.
He's really good up front. And they decided, okay, that guy has 300 international wickets. This guy is yet to play international cricket.
Yeah.
They threw him the ball and said, you're the guy who can do it. You're the guy who can bowl those, bowl the cutters, bowl this thing more accurate in the end. And he did it for them.
Absolutely. And
5-run last over. I mean,
we'll talk about David Warner's captaincy in detail, backing Mukesh Kumar, who was under pressure because he conceded 15 in the 18th over. But before we do that, I think we ought to talk about Hyderabad as well because they started off decently well, but the wheels sort of fell off. And after Mayank Agarwal got out, we saw a similar collapse to the one that Delhi had.
Yeah,
Really?
through those middle overs were really tough for them, 23 for 3 through those middle overs. And we talked in the comm box and I said either Tripathi or Mayank had to kind of just up the ante a little bit.
Yeah.
'Cause the run rate pressure was just starting to squeeze. And what that means is that when every new batter comes in, it's difficult to start. And when you try and start quickly, you lose your wickets, hence 23 for 3 through that middle period of time. I mean, they had 3 batters going at strike rates good enough to win the game. Mayank was 125, so it was kind of okay, but Klaasen 163, Washington Sundar 160, 31 off 19, 24 off 15. So when you've got 3 batters going at better than the rate required to win a game, it just shows you that the in-betweens were not good enough. And that's the key. 7 from 14, 15 from 21, chewed up a lot of deliveries, did Rahul Tripathi. Abhishek couldn't get going, Markram couldn't get going. So that's what was sort of tough from a Hyderabad point of view. But then you flip that and how well I think Delhi bowled. Mayank just maybe could have just gone a little harder through that earlier period because I think that's when it was slightly easier to play.
Yeah, but speaking of Mayank and speaking of the batting order, the opening combination, I think we sound like a broken record right now, but we ought to continuously talk about the batting order because Brian Lara did mention before this game that it's going to be Abhishek Sharma and Harry Brook opening, but we saw a different pair. We saw Mayank Agarwal coming out with Harry Brook. So they've been playing musical chairs with their top order and their middle order, haven't they?
Yeah, absolutely. And I really felt that the 2 players who looked most influential and most capable of mustering the ball out of the ground, Klaasen and Sundar, came in too late. Perhaps you one position up, but then who goes out then? Abhishek Sharma goes out. Somewhere they haven't yet unlocked the key of that batting order. And the words I'd use up front when they couldn't get going was, I think Tripathi and Mayank were timid. And that's not a word you normally use with Tripathi because he's a very busy player.
Yeah.
But just sometimes when the team is not going and you're not getting it, they just find themselves mad because that was the time to score. Remember, Delhi has 2 good spinners, legit spinners. What does that mean? That means 8 overs of spin.
That's right.
Okay, that means spin can't come on too early. I have to therefore attack up front. I have to give it more of a back up front.
And some teams get carried away with this matchup thing as well. And I talk about this quite often too in commentary. Good bowlers can bowl to good batters, right-handed or left-handed, and good batters can face good spinners, right-handed or left-handed. So to me, they were caught up in the left arm spin of Akshar and Abhishek coming into bat, instead of Markram and Klaasen coming into bat. Now, Abhishek, to me, either opens the batting or he bats around about Washington Sundar's number. He does not bat in that middle order because I don't think that's his role. He comes in at the end and he whacks it because he can do that. He's got big boy power. He's got good long levers. He can clear the boundary. So he either opens the batting and gets a strike rate and sets a strike rate, or he bats at number 7. But I don't think he bats at number 3, 4, 5, or 4, 5, 6 and nudges the striker. Not when you've got international quality in Markram and Klaasen.
Yeah.
They were left too late. And I think that was part of the issue with that whole sort of structure around what Hyderabad did.
Yeah, another issue that's been plaguing Hyderabad this season is the form of Rahul Tripathi, and we've been seeing a tale of 2 seasons because we saw him in prolific form last season, but he seems like a shadow of himself, Joy. This season, he had that one innings of 74 not out against Punjab, but apart from that one innings that he played, I mean, the strike rate, the average, we've seen like a precipitous decline compared to his numbers from last season.
Yeah, look, he's just not in form. And there's no other way to put it. And today, when you're not in form, what you try and do often is try and play yourself into form. But that's not Tripaঠি's natural game.
Yeah.
Tripaঠি's natural game is attack. But because he got out a few times, he's not going to attack. 15 of 21, somebody of the quality of Tripathi, if he plays 21 balls, he has to give you more than that. You can have a look at 5 balls, 6 balls, 10 balls. And again, I go back to that. If you're not going to attack the ball when it's hard, in conditions when you know that spinners are going to play a large part, then you're leaving your teammates too much to do.
Yeah.
I had a look at his numbers the other day. I think I'm right in saying I think that's now the 4th innings he's batted more than 10 balls where he's got less than a run a ball.
Less than a strike rate.
The only time he's had a good strike rate is at 74 not out.
Exactly.
But every other time that he's batted 10 balls or more, he's been less than a run a ball.
Yeah.
Now, look, whether that's a problem for him and he's worried about his spot in the side, he shouldn't be. He's good enough to be in that side all day, every day at number 3. But he cannot be chewing up deliveries. Not at number 3, not inside the power play if they lose a wicket early. He cannot afford to chew up deliveries. If he goes out there and Brian Lara says, listen, mate, go and play. If you get out, you get out. I don't mind, but you cannot get 15 off 21 balls.
Yeah.
You cannot get 10 off 18 balls. It's unacceptable. Go out there, play your game, and if it doesn't work out, we've got a long enough batting lineup. Youngson's a good player. He's coming in at 8, I think, tonight. He's a good player. So we talked about the impact player lengthening batting lineups. This is an opportunity for Rahul Tripathi to say, I just got to go out and play. I just got to try and find that form. Go to the nets and just hit balls out of the park. Go out to the middle and try and hit the balls out of the park.
Yeah, one of my favorite pieces of commentary took place in the 2021 season. This is qualifier 2 between Delhi and Kolkata. 6 needed of 2 balls. Simon Doull, you were in the commentary box with Pommy Mbangwa. And you had Rahul Tripathi hit that 6 of Ashwin. And you said, come to Tripathi.
Yes.
And I'm butchering it, I mean, I can't replicate your sonorous voice. But clearly this season he hasn't quite been coming to the party. Yeah. Anyway, we'll take a look at the points table. And after proceedings that took place today, we see Hyderabad languishing in the second last position. Delhi still last, but only on net run rate. So Delhi making a comeback slowly but surely, Joy. They lost the first 5 matches. I remember this one dialogue in Rocky Balboa in the movie. And he says, life isn't about how hard you hit. It's about how hard you get hit, but come back. And Delhi seemed to be showing that spirit in the last 2 matches.
Look, I just want to tell you one thing. There's only one in the history of the IPL. There's been one team that's come back from 0-5 and made it to the semi-finals. And that is Mumbai in 2014. And one of the guys who was flown out to be with that Mumbai team, because if you remember that first part of the tournament was at the Gulf, and then they come back and they came and played in India. One of the guys who was flown in to talk to that Mumbai team who were really struggling was a certain Ricky Ponting, because the year before, he'd been part of the championship team. So the only thing I want to say is that if he's the common thread out here in a 0-5, how you can make it back from 0-5, perhaps there's a story, who knows?
The beauty is that table is so compact. So from second to last is 4 points.
Yeah, it's
and we're halfway through.
Yeah,
now, we normally say that 14 points with a good run rate would get you through to the top 4. Okay, 14 with a good run rate. I mean, now you're looking at that, you're thinking, 14 points, 12 with a really good run rate might sneak you into 4th, but they're a chance because of the congested nature, and everybody is capable of beating everybody, and that's the thing. So, they are not out of it, and not out of it by any stretch.
Yeah, I mean, up until now we were referring to the middle muddle, but I think it's a top muddle, a middle muddle, and a bottom muddle.
KKR from 2-5 won the championship in 2014.
In 2014, and reached the finals with a similar record in 2021 when they lost against Chennai as well.
Exactly.
Yeah. You spoke about David Warner's captaincy earlier on. Continue, because his captaincy was splendid, especially backing Mukesh Kumar in that final over. But apart from that, what did you notice about his captaincy today?
I think first and foremost, we were talking about it. They didn't take advantage of it, but choosing to bat first was aggressive. It was saying that I'm setting the agenda. I'm not following an agenda, I'm setting an agenda. I'm not containing, I'm setting. Okay? So I think that's somewhere there. I liked the way he used his bowlers today. Again, it was a puzzling choice. We thought there'd be another spinner. I liked the confidence he puts in Mukesh. And I think the fielding rotations and all were spot on in the last few overs when they were really crucial. So I think something there, mind you, and this is a situation where there were a couple of situations where I think there was one catch where he knew Mitch Marsh was going for it and he was in a better position. But there was so much noise, he knew Mitch would never hear him. And nobody would like to collide with Mitch, So
it's funny how things come back to bite you. I know there was a chat with the coach, wasn't there? He said, I can't believe they chose to bat first with the Sunrise.
Hemant
Badani.
Yeah.
Hemant Badani. I can't believe they chose to bat first. Well, that's why.
Yeah.
You know, it comes back and gets you every time. You know, this it's the way this game goes. I was impressed with David Warner again. I thought, look, he's always got energy, David, but he manoeuvred the bowlers well, and having only had 2 spinners, I think he held them back at the right time. Bowling Norkia, the crucial over, that 19th over, trusting Mukesh, talking to him. There wasn't a lot of going up to him in that last over. I think he said, this is your role, use the big side of the ground, execute your plans, you know what you're doing, we're trusting you to do it, go ahead and do it. And you could see his emotion after the second last ball. Now, don't like going the early crow either, because what if he bowled a no ball or a wide or something? But you could see his emotion. I mean, that win means a lot to him, and you know it means a lot to Delhi. It was a very, very good win. A game that Hyderabad will go back in now and they'll be thinking, wow, how did we lose that? How did we lose that? I'm not sure the numbers. We'll get the numbers in our ear in a minute.
Third time they've faltered in chases.
Over 50% now, I think, batting first, winning in this tournament so far. It was around about 50-50 the other day. We saw another one last night, winning batting first, obviously, with Chennai. We've seen today winning batting first. I think it's over 50% now. The teams that are batting first are winning in this tournament.
Incredible.
So don't be afraid.
Yeah.
You know, don't be afraid to bat first. If you put enough runs on the board, you can still win.
Absolutely. I mean, you know, with each passing day, this league is definitely throwing up more and more surprises, and it's getting more and more competitive. And speaking of, the league getting competitive, we'll take a look at the points table. And we see Delhi at the bottom, but of course, they're making a late surge. They have 2 wins under the belt now. Hyderabad on 9th position, level on points with Delhi. And up top, you've got Chennai after the win yesterday, Rajasthan in 2nd position. And we have Mumbai that's going to be playing tomorrow on 7th. Gujarat, the team that Mumbai is going to be facing, on 4th. And speaking about Mumbai as well as Gujarat, let's head to our next encounter that takes place in Ahmedabad between Gujarat and Mumbai. This is match number 35 that takes place at the Narendra Modi Stadium. Every single game, Joy, is important in this league, but a lot at stake for both teams. Gujarat, if they end up winning this, they join Chennai at the top of the table in 2nd position, or if it's a big win, who knows, they might just move up to 1.
Yeah, I think for Gujarat it's a important match. For Mumbai it's even more crucial because they had 2 and then they won 3 in a row and then they dropped that one to Punjab where the momentum's just got a bit derailed. So it's an interesting encounter because Mumbai has to get out of that mid-table mediocrity and Gujarat is catching them on their home ground. Gujarat has lost a couple of games which you don't expect Gujarat to lose. They've lost 2 games which they would have expected. I mean, the Kolkata, Rinku Singh, and then what happened with Lucknow. So it's interesting. It's a wounded Gujarat. They're still a very, very, very good team. So it'll be a fascinating encounter.
Absolutely. And that close win against Lucknow in the last match will definitely give them a lot of confidence because for most of that match, Lucknow seemed to be favourites, but Gujarat snatched victory from the jaws of defeat, didn't they?
Yeah, they did. And look, it's a test for, we always talk about that side and the calm nature of what that side, whether it be the backroom staff, through to Hardik, who's a very calm captain. I think he's quite composed. It was a real test in the last couple of games for that whole environment, because we always see them smiling and laughing. We see Ashu just smiling and laughing and carrying on. We never see them panic or anything or any worry in their mind. So they've had a little tester, and I think they'll probably be a little bit surprised with that previous win, a game that they probably shouldn't have won or felt like they were behind the 8 ball most of the game. So from Mumbai's point of view, a tough one. What do they do? How do they sort of bounce back from the other day? When you're chasing in excess of 200, they were in a position where they looked like they were going to win that, but you've got to consistently do it from so far out. And you have one bad over or one over that goes for 5 or 6, all of a sudden the game gets away from you really quickly. And with the ball, do they retain Arjun Tendulkar? I mean, what do they do? Because the last thing you want to do to a young man is throw him on the heap after one bad game. Because he's actually done a pretty good job for him. And I don't think, in all honesty, and I think Rohit knows, he's not really a death bowler as yet. He's not a guy that they should be bowling in the last 4 or 5. But he went to him to give him an opportunity, and it cost them. It cost them big time. I think he is a Trent Bolt type. I'm not saying he's Trent Bolt by any stretch of the imagination, but 2 to 3 overs up front. A Deepak Chahar type, an Ishant Sharma type bowler, where he bowls 2 to 3 up front, where it swings a little bit, and then you forget about it. He's not experienced enough at the moment to be bowling at the back end of the innings. So what do they do with him? His confidence will be down, I'm sure, a little bit. So how do they go about that situation?
And that's my question for both of you. What do you do with him? Do you still play him despite the 31 that he conceded in that over?
Look, personally, Joy, I would. That's all I'll say. But I would, because I know how he must feel.
Yeah, and look, it's not as if they have great options elsewhere.
Yeah.
I think the point is just getting the ball at that situation, and once those first 3 balls start travelling, it's really, really difficult for any bowler. So I think you have to give him a chance. And if you remember, the first match that they played him, that they bowled him with a couple of overs up front, and then they didn't risk him later.
Yeah.
But I think also it will depend on how much Jofra is going to come back as well.
Yeah.
And I want to see how much. So in fact, so many matches I started confusing. The close one that they lost was not to Lucknow, is the one they lost to
Rajasthan.
Is the one that I messed up.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's all right. You may forgive him. We're halfway through now. There's been so many matches.
Right. So, as you said, not too many options from Mumbai's perspective. And so far, the strategy in the tournament has been that you outbat the opposition because the bowling has been
That's the only way they can do it.
Yeah.
Look, the truth of the matter is they don't have a... If you look at it, Piyush Chawla was sitting on the riding their bench for the last couple of years because he's not up there. Today, you look at him, Piyush Chawla is one of their main bowlers.
Yeah.
And bully for him. I think he's a fantastic bowler, very and on a ground like a larger ground like the Narendra Modi Stadium, he will be really useful for them. But that just means that their attack does not have the bite. I mean, this is an attack that 2 years back had, Bumrah, Trent Bolt coming at you, full-fledged attacks. Lasith Malinga a couple of years back.
Hardik.
Those attacks are over. Hardik, those attacks are not there.
Yeah, we have Jofra Archer. He went for a few runs in the last match, but it's good that he's getting overs under his belt. And slowly but surely, he'll find his rhythm again. Moving on to the other side of the ledger, we'll speak about Gujarat Titans. Back at home for this encounter, Dooley, you expect Alzari Joseph to come back and replace Noor Ahmed?
Yeah, I think so. Look, I mean, Zari's been one of the best bowlers in T20 cricket in the last year and a half, 2 years. His pace it's sneaky quick. So I'd expect him to slot back in, and that's kind of the only change you would expect from a Gujarat point of view. He's such a good bowler at the moment, Alzari. I mean, he hits more people than most quick bowlers, and he hits them because, as I say, it's sneaky pace, but he's got such a beautiful high action as well. And I mean, he's in that early 150s, late 140s, time and time again. He's 6'6". He's really athletic, and he's a guy that you want in your side. A little bit of pace and bounce on the surface. He's one I want to have all the time.
Yeah, and within this battle between the two sides, we're seeing these subplots, these mini battles. We're going to be seeing Hardik Pandya and Rohit Sharma taking on each other, only for the second time in the history of the IPL as captains. You could say the present of India versus the future of India, Joy?
Oh,
Big call.
Can I just say, we had commentators sent home and never allowed back in the tournament again, because on one particular occasion they said, I've got the heir apparent talking to the current about Virat and MS. They got sent home. Won't allow back.
So I'm guessing these are words that should never be spoken.
Shouldn't say it. It's all right.
That didn't happen.
The good thing is, we can talk about anything on Cricbuzz. We can talk about anything on Cricbuzz without fear.
It's a safe space. We can be as open, as radically honest as possible, like the two of you always are.
No, absolutely. And you're in a situation where they must have spent hours, days debating Hardik Suryakumar, because it's clear they had to retain Rohit. He's a guy who's captained them for 5 wins. Okay, Bumrah, you don't. So that one choice they would have agonized over it, and whichever way they went, obviously it turned out really fantastic for Gujarat as well. One other interesting subplot: where has Alzari Joseph played his first match? For the Mumbai Indians, and taken 6 wickets in that match.
6 for 12 is still the best figures, 12, I think.
Yeah.
So I mean, he'll be fired up. He'll want to get his players back, because Lucknow, the kind of pitch they had, obviously Noor Ahmed is a good replacement for him. And what's happened is a couple of crucial things have clicked in. Now Mohit Sharma has I think his last performance would have cemented that place where he is now. And I think that's what's happened. So Shami, Mohit Sharma is there. It's set out there. I think they now think they've got the combination that they need. They're going to play all the way back. Maybe Noor Ahmed in the places where it turns. In other places you play Alzari. I don't think the rest of it is going to change too much, barring injury.
The great thing for me about Hardik and Krunal, I'll throw them both in there. I think it's been the best thing for their game, getting away from Mumbai and actually just growing both as leaders. I mean, I know Krunal's not captaining, but he's a real leader in that Lucknow side. And Hardik is learning all the time about captaincy and how teams operate, how franchises operate. And he's a genuinely good captain. He's a terrific cricketer, and he's a good man to talk to.
Yeah,
I really enjoy how he talks about cricket, whether it be in a conversation with a microphone or even away from it. You know, like he pushes the microphone away, have a bit of a chat about cricket before a toss, those sorts of things. I think he's just growing and growing and growing in that role. And you know, he is a future Indian captain in white ball format in particular. And I know he's been quite open about the World Test Championship. That's not for him at the moment. So he's a white ball leader down the track. I've got no doubt about that. But I think both those boys, it's been the making of them. Not that they weren't good cricketers, and not that Mumbai didn't do a great job with them. But I just think the next level in their careers. They're both taken a leap, Joy.
Exactly. They had to move. They had to move to take the next step because they would always be. Where would you get a chance with Rohit out there? You know, 5 championships. Where do you get a chance? So he had to get out of Rohit's shadow. And Kunal also, you absolutely agree with you. And look at the maturity he had. Kunal goes in there. The one person he's had a huge beef with in domestic cricket is Deepak Hooda. But he walks straight up there the first time they meet in the dressing room, goes, shakes hands and says, well, we're here to play for the same franchise. And so that kind of maturity I think, is fantastic.
Yeah. And he's just one of, I mean, you look at how lucky are India at the moment. We would kill for a Krunal Pandya down in New Zealand, or an Akshar Patel that doesn't play every game. And you've got Jaddu, you've got Krunal, you've got Akshar. Left-armers who bat left-handed, who all hit it out of the park, who are all absolutely, terrific bowlers.
I mean, it's certainly a problem of plenty, but I'm guessing, you have to experience that decision fatigue, the tyranny of choice, as they call it. Speaking of, making choices, Joy, your player to watch out for from Gujarat for this encounter?
Look, I'm going to go easy. It's just Hardik. Hardik versus Mumbai is a plot that you can't miss. You have to go for Hardik.
Dooley from Mumbai?
From Mumbai, look, I tell you what, he's just starting to come together with the price tag. Green.
Yeah.
He is another serious cricketer. He will be a brilliant world cricketer in the next sort of 5 to 10 years, and his name will be in lights on many, many occasions. So Cam Green, I think, he's just starting to come to terms with the price tag and show his wares, and he'll get better and better.
Fantastic. So our experts have picked their players to watch out for. In case you're making your Fantasy 11, then definitely subscribe to Cricbuzz Plus, and you can check out a fantasy handbook. It's going to give you information on what players to pick, what matchups to consider. I took a look yesterday and I absolutely loved it. I forced Joy as well as Dooley to take a look as well. You guys are on it, right?
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. So definitely subscribe to Cricbuzz Plus and check out Fantasy Handbook. The only regret that you'll have when you do so is not having done so earlier. Yeah, brilliant. This was absolutely fantastic. But of course, we can't end proceedings without Joy Factor. We have to end on a high note. So we'll get back the Joy Factor question again. And Joy had asked us, 2 former India captains played the last game for their respective franchises in a match in 2013, but neither was the oldest player on the field. Who was?
Okay, so I'll just start by saying the 2 former India captains were 2 greats of India, Rahul Dravid and Sachin Tendulkar. They played their last franchise match against each other, Rajasthan playing in the Champions League final against Mumbai Indians.
Can I have a guess?
And who would be the oldest player?
Dooley, your guess.
Oh, perfect. He's got it absolutely right.
Yeah, the old stager.
Absolutely.
The old stager, Praveen Tambe.
Praveen Tambe. And what are the odds that you have 2 41-year-old guys playing against each other, and they say they're 7 years younger to the other guy playing?
Someone told me he's still playing. He's still playing a little bit of league cricket or domestic, some sort of domestic cricket.
He played the CPL in 2020.
Yeah.
And by that time, he'd been in his 50s, I think.
I think he was 49 or 50, Unbelievable.
Yeah. And he's currently part of the LSG dugout. He was a part of the KKR dugout, and now he's moved to LSG. But yeah, he's still playing semi-professional
how good
cricket.
A net bowler would he still be? You still have someone like that in the nets just to come in and bowl a few. Brilliant. Great stuff.
Absolutely. Let's see who the winner of the Joy Factor question of the day is. It's Neha Dhakras. Neha, congratulations from all of us, from the entire Cricbuzz family, for winning this question. It was a difficult one. I bet Saimi, Polly, Vonnie aren't laughing at this one, are they?
But this one they'd get. I mean, I think Saimi would get it because she's a huge fan of Praveen Tambe as well.
Yeah, brilliant. And Simon, in case you got it, congratulations to you as well, along with Neha. Absolutely loved proceedings on a Monday. I started the show by saying Monday blues. What Monday blues? When you have such cracking contests taking place, and when you're in the company of Simon Doull as well as Joy Bhattacharya. Joy, you're going to be here tomorrow, aren't you?
I'm going to be here tomorrow.
Joy's going to be here, but Simon, busy man, flying.
Back on the 1st.
Back on the 1st.
And then I've got 7, 8 and 9 to look forward to. I think 3 days in a row, 7th, 8th and 9th. So, yeah,
fantastic.
Look forward to coming back on the 1st.
So Dooley's going to be back soon. Joy's going to be here. And of course, you're going to be here as well tomorrow when we kick off proceedings at 7 p.m. building up to Gujarat versus Mumbai. Take it easy now. It's close to 12 o'clock. Get your rest, get your sleep. Have a good day at work tomorrow. And definitely see us at 7 p.m. when we go live on Cricbuzz Live. Until tomorrow, take care, stay safe and cheers.
Jaipur via Kota.
कृपया ध्यान आपको अहमदाबाद
दिल्ली में आपका स्वागत
Lucknow Junction.
ನಿಲ್ದಾಣದ ಕಡೆಗೆ ಹೊರಟಿರುವ ರೈಲು
Hyderabad Superfast Express পরবর্তী স্টেশন নেতাজি ভবন। कृपया ध्यान दें